Hello, time travelers. How are you? Welcome to my podcast, Shamanic Heart Space. This episode is focusing around the energies of the Aries new moon that is coming up this week around the 31st of March, 1st of April. And yeah, you might be feeling it already. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I just channel the energies and pass on whatever comes through. Might be useful to you to help you navigate being a conscious being, being a conscious creator. So, yeah, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if you like my podcast, please pass it on, share it around. And yeah, some people like to get a notebook handy, sit down and make a nice sacred space, take a few notes, see what comes to mind, because it's not uncommon for activations to happen when I'm in this channeling space. So it can be really nice to just create a bit of time for yourself for the next 30 minutes to 40 minutes, usually is how long the transmission takes. Yeah, but if you're out and about walking, that's fine. whatever works for you. These podcast sessions, episodes came about because I used to channel this part in my monthly moon ceremonies, full moon and new moon, that I do online, because then I can do them wherever I am in the world doing my shamanic work, usually between London and the Amazon of Peru. And yeah, twice a month, a gang of us get together and get clear about who we are, where we are, feel our feelings, and yeah, get to align with our highest self. So then the channeling part, this part, the energy part, started to just get too long. So I do it as a separate podcast. And if you are coming to the moon ceremony this week, it's a good idea to listen to this beforehand, but after is great as well, no worries. And yeah, they can just help you navigate your shamanic journey when we do the moon ceremony. But you know yourself better than anybody, hopefully. So you just do what feels right for you. And if you do want to join us, just check out the show notes, check out the website, check out the social media. And yeah, Patreon members can always catch up and have replays and all that kind of stuff. So you can find out all about that at your leisure. It'd be gorgeous to have you. Okay, so let's get into it. So as usual, I like to just take a few moments at the beginning to encourage anybody who's listening to just sink into the present moment, get back into their bodies. So you there listening to me, get into your body. Take some nice deep breaths if you can, audibly if you can. So hear that breath coming in through the nose for 5 beats. And out through the mouth for 7. And you can just continue to do that if that feels comfortable for you. Well, I'll begin with the channeling. And you can just allow yourself to just surrender for the next 30 minutes or so. See if anything comes to the surface for you as I start channeling for this Aries new moon energy. Okay. So usually, I've said this before, lucky me, I get to experience these energies a bit before they come up for everybody else. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know if that's a story I tell myself, but it seems to be the way it goes. And yeah, you know, how I experience it doesn't mean that it's going to be the same for you. So I've had quite a mad, like, couple of weeks in the run up to this. It's been intense. And my job really is to interpret that. On one hand, for myself, absolutely, for what I'm learning as I'm creating myself as well, but also take the message from that and see how it translates to the collective or anybody who feels called to listen to this. So what I found is there's been a lot of opportunities, shall we call it, opportunities and initiations coming up for me to stand up for myself, being one of them, and also knowing when to let stuff go. And I think, yeah, a couple of years ago, I had quite a big trauma that kind of made me go into myself. So I used to be a lot more fiery and sticking up for myself, and then I went through some trauma, not just one trauma, but quite a few. And yeah, from there, I was kind of, I guess the analogy would be frozen in fear a lot of the time. And you might not think that that would happen if you know me, you know what I'm like. But yeah, I felt a bit frozen. And recently, the last few weeks have been a lot of opportunities for me to step up and speak up and stand up for myself and start um, yeah, having that voice again, having that fire inside again. Aries is a fiery sign, so no surprises there really. So how I interpret that is these opportunities come to, yeah, give us what we need. If we're meeting difficult people and we're finding ourselves in the matrix, trying to navigate our way through, whilst staying in touch with that and connected with the fact that we're spiritual beings, it can be really difficult when um, when you take it too seriously. So what I realized in the last week or so was, yeah, not to take it too seriously. And I was saying to a friend just now on the phone, like, I feel like my life's a computer game. I'm finding it really funny now, the way these little like baddies are popping up. And I mean, really, underneath these behaviors that are coming at me, because it takes two to tango, right? So on one side, I'm putting out an energy that's attracting these opportunities, such as difficult people or pushy people or whatever the thing is that makes me feel uncomfortable, that's made me come out of my shell again, right? So I'm attracting that. I could go into victim mode. Why is this happening to me, or whatever, or learn the lesson from it. But then on the other side of it, the person that's playing that role of, I don't know, it's in the drama triangle, it'd be called the persecutor, I think. Um, usually they're quite insecure people themselves, anxious people themselves. And so what happened here for me was like to realize that hurt child in them, and that actually there's no point in me wasting energy in some of these instances, and really getting into my ego and having a big drama about it. So yeah, these things are likely to come up for the collective, where you've got an opportunity to come out of hiding. Whatever you're hiding right now, as we step into the new Zodiac Cycle with baby Aries, whatever you're hiding, the parts of yourself that you want to disown and unlove, it's time for you to remember them, to recall them and bring them into the light and love them. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for that in one way or another. Now, you're all individual, unique, amazing beings. So whatever that looks like to you is what it's going to look like to you. Okay, I already know this is going to be quite a jumbled up message. So be patient with me, but also be patient in the bigger scheme of things. I'm saying be patient with me because I might loop round to something I've said previously in the episode, because the messages don't always come through in a linear fashion to me. It's not like having a regular conversation. I get images, I get words. I'm clairaudient, clairsentient, Claire, all the Claires. So I get all the messages in different ways. But yeah, be patient. This is a time for you to really be patient. And that fiery energy might make you feel impatient and like running forward, stubbornly pushing your way through. But take the time to be really lovely to yourself. So the energy will be strongest now in the 3 days, 3 days running up to the moon, during the moon, and then the 3 days after, and then it might taper off a bit. It depends how willing you are to surrender. But this is really okay, yeah. I'm just getting a message. Hang on. Okay, so there's an exciting bubbling energy, that bubbling spring energy, to honor your calling. Now, you may know what that is, you may think you know what that is, or you may not have a clue what that is. But by being patient and being still, you can really get into the feeling of what it feels to feel good for you. And that is what your calling is, to follow that good feeling. I mean, good's an understatement. But that thing that really, lights you up, that thing that resonates with your soul, that just hits that note. And if you're not sure, that's fine, because you're exactly where you need to be. But just try to spend some time sitting with yourself as usual and honoring yourself. Yeah. Okay. So we have to be really on it with our energy. Aries kind of rules the head area, that kind of hot-headedness, and our energy levels. So it's a really good time to think about where your energy's going. That's been a bit of a theme, hasn't it? Where your energy's going, and where is your energy at? Do you need it to come up, or do you need to calm it down? Are you feeling anxious, or are you feeling exhausted? Where are you at? How are you going to get some balance there? What does it mean to have a bit of self-care? And maybe you can't be of service to anybody else right now. Maybe you really do need to serve yourself first. So, in terms of kind of integrating these podcasts, you could start a practice of journaling, or, maybe you don't meditate right now, but being in the energy that you're in and seeing where that stream is trying to take you, or however it appears to you. It might come to you as a fire, as a wind, as anything. Where is your own energy leading you? Is it telling you need to go and have a lie down, or is it trying to make you run up a mountain? And getting your body, your mind, your spirit all into alignment so they're in the same place. And like that's something I can struggle with a lot, like my body not being in alignment with the rest of me. And I kind of feel like I'm dragging this body around behind me. And actually, so what I need to do is sit down and spend more time being in the body, you know? So, yeah, the self-care is really important part of your integration. And, there's this culture of running around taking a lot of medicines and whatever, and not sitting down and integrating is something I'm really passionate about, because, when that behavior takes hold, that's really an ego exercise. And it's oh, I just lost my train of thought there. Just jumping on one medicine to another, or one retreat to another, or one guru, or one therapist to another, looking outside of yourself. Ultimately, the only way out is to go in. And, I feel passionate about this because I'm concerned about wasting the resources and the misuse of and the misrepresentation of the medicines that I love and work with, for sure. But on a bigger scale, the kind of spiritual commercialism, whatever you want to call it, is really damaging to human beings and all of society. So just don't forget to integrate what you're learning and what you're healing, and that is the real work. And these medicines, they can really help. But, right now, maybe that's not where you need to go. Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. And just spend some time with you. You are your healer. You are your guru. If you're really, really, really stuck, yeah, sure. Get some help by way of a guide, maybe. But and I'm not telling anybody what to do at all. But it's just been very obvious to me this week of this kind of culture that's occurring around medicines and sacred practices and stuff. So that's the message that's coming through. Just don't forget to integrate. You don't have to be running from one base to the next or running around in circles, Okay. So they're showing me a kind of sinking. So, yeah, what are you feeling right now? And sink into it. And it might not be immediately obvious. You might not be able to put a name to what you're feeling. Is it familiar? Do you want to get away from it? Do you want more of it? So they're trying to get me to make the point about honoring who you are and where you are. It's like quite literally like, babes, believe in yourself. And just they're saying allow us and allow the universe to show up for you. So some of us can be really tempted to be controlling and, make things happen, push things along, tick all the right boxes, follow a formula. But actually, there is no formula. Everybody's trying to sell a formula. But if you can just be your spiritual self in a human body, having a good time, let the universe show up for you, and you can just be curious and childlike and play with the initiations, play with the emotions, play with manifestation. We don't have to take it all so seriously because it is a dream. Okay. So I used to be an English teacher. Hopefully this will be relevant to not just me, but they're showing me a Midsummer Night's Dream Shakespeare play. And it's that sort of energy. It's that sort of idea. Play within a play. Yeah, that dreaminess. And that anything's possible. And there's, I guess, over in the, where am I? Northern Hemisphere. Spring is popping up, even though it's meant to snow like in the next couple of days, but whatever. Fresh ideas, new life sprouting, sparks coming from nowhere. And you've got to give yourself the space and the time to allow that clarity to come through for you. And so we're probably going to see a lot more of that in the collective. I'm certainly seeing a lot more of it now. Startups and these great ideas people are having that are leading us into more sustainable living and community living and just actually taking care of each other, which in turn helps us take care of ourselves and the planet. Like, wow. So like going back to the old ways. So holding space for yourself in terms of that, just getting back into that playful energy. We seem to be getting reminded about that a lot. And honestly, just in the last few days, I've really got back into that playful energy, and I am just having the best time. I really feel at the moment like I am the creator of my reality, which of course I am, but sometimes it doesn't seem to flow. And right now, like, it's just I've got my own show, and it's really busy, And it's really crazy. And sometimes I stop and think like, because it's not like romanticized. It's not all like magic and rainbows or whatever on the outside. On the inside, for sure. I'm doing a lot of meditations at the moment about filling up with rainbows and starlight. And actually, I remembered as a child, I used to do that. No surprises, right? Um, yeah. So try to make opportunities to get into that childlike place if you can. So yeah, creativity. And if it goes wrong, goes wrong. Like, so what? You know, I just enjoy it. Okay. Okay, change in energy. All right, something moving between the surface and getting serpentine energy. That could be Kundalini. Okay, the hidden parts of ourselves that we think are not worth loving. The parts that we want to hide, the masks that we wear. If we're still wearing masks, it's time for full disclosure, babes. So this is about, unleashing who you really are. And the energies are around to really make that happen for you, to really help you break through any conditioning around your identity and who you are, so that you can show yourself to the world. So, I remember, I don't know, last week, a couple of days ago, something like that. And I was saying to a friend, like, oh, I realized there's part of me that's still hiding. Even after all this, I didn't even know this part of me was still hiding. So then what happened was the universe, put these people in my path to shoehorn me out of that. And I'm so happy for it. Don't have to carry around that armor anymore, which I didn't even know I was wearing. So it's kind of like when you take off those shoes that were too tight, or you take off that heavy bag, you're just like, oh. So there's a lot of opportunity coming for that to happen. And it may well come as something that seems like a total pain in the ass, spanner in the works. I don't want that. Fuck that out of my life. But if you just sit back and just think about, what is this showing me? What is this opportunity? What is this initiation? And possibly, most likely, how it connects to any masks that you might be wearing. It might do you some good, So full disclosure. They're hinting at something else around full disclosure, not just about the individual, but the collective. Hang on, let me just see if they're going to tell me more about that. You see, they've been saying to me for ages that there was going to be some UFO disclosure. I mean, no surprise to me, but like, when? It won't tell me when. Anyway, okay, so we've got to break through our own conditioning. I feel like yawning now, so that means it's really important. Have these strange tells, and if you work with medicine yourself, you'll know that funny things can happen when points are important. You might shake, you might yawn, you might laugh and cry at the same time. For me, a yawn is one of my tells. Is that the right word? The authentic channeling. So the whole identity thing, the identity crisis, and we've said this before. I never listen back to my podcast, so if you listen to these back to back, it might make more sense. But I'm sure I talked about identity recently on another podcast, and you don't have to have it fixed. You don't have to have a label, but you just have to know what it feels like to be you in any given moment. So, who are you when you show yourself to the world? So this is really about, you don't have to pretend. You don't have to put on a performance anymore. Please let me be the one to tell you, you are lovable and you are loved, and you don't have to pretend. You don't have to hide behind a performance to be loved, to be accepted. And if that resonates with you, please internalize that. If it doesn't and you feel like you've already moved past that, then fantastic. And this is an opportunity for some really deep healing for a lot of people. A huge awakening has taken place, and more so every day. And for a lot of people, it's happening very quickly. Most of you know, I've been in this game for around 40 years, but actively for about 22. And it's been a long old road, but I'm meeting people now, they feel like they woke up last week or 3 years ago. And it's happening really intense and really fast. And you can really feel like you're losing your mind. Mine was a slow burn around losing the mind. But you're not. And there are plenty of people around now to turn to if you feel like that, if you just feel like everything you ever knew, everything you understood is a lie and you don't know what's real and what's not. You're in good company, okay? Just reach out if you need to, all right? It seems like quite an important message. The mental health situation is frightening for a lot of people. So also, if you feel like you're on the better side of the old mental health and you're feeling good, just let people know that you're there for them, when they're going through this, because it can be really dark, it can be really scary, it can be really lonely. I've found this path to be very lonely, but not so much now, so that's good. A few more rocket ships incoming. Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of getting this message, this image of rocket ships and like waving goodbye to the matrix. And just allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to be open, and just let that mask fall. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities and support really around having nowhere else to hide, so that then you can really show up in all of your glorious authenticity. That mask, that identity, that role, that story, it's gone. It feels very poignant for me too, actually. So really connecting with the self, understanding and loving the self, and allowing for any big releases so that new beginnings can take root, sprout. There's this glorious golden wave of energy is the only way I can describe it, that's felt by many people on a certain vibration, and we just know that everything's cool, it's all going to be all right. But as we know, there are different realities taking place in the same space, and so not everybody's going to be feeling that. So our job is to anchor that energy and be a channel for that energy and hold space for that energy and welcome people in, no matter what your difference is. You don't have to agree to be kind to somebody, to show somebody some love. And allow yourself to be vulnerable in that. Just being open-hearted and seeing that wounded child in another who's trying to, give you grief or hold you back, and just love them anyway. They're the people that need the love, Okay, so again, they're saying to me, being very conscious of your energy, channeling your energy effectively. Do not waste it on bullshit. Honestly. The kind of stuff that's happened to me, especially this week, it's it's just unreal, and I like really mean that I'm laughing about it because yeah, maybe a decade ago it would have really wound me up. Old Nancy, the ego would have probably taken over, I needed to be right or something. But now I'd rather have peace than be right. So yeah, be really conscious of your own energy. Okay, so mm, this is the beginning of a new zodiac cycle as well. So once again, new moon, new cycle, opportunity to begin again for yourself if you want to. Take with you what you want and leave behind all the stuff that's dragging you down, whatever it is, even if they say it's really important in the matrix. If it's not serving you, if it's weighing heavy on your heart, if it's just not in alignment with who you are and where you want to go, you got to let it go. Really, really tune into yourself. What is important to you? You don't have to shout about it from the rooftops. It might be something really small. Really getting to know who you are really right now and checking, are you in alignment with your heart? And are your actions congruent with that? Okay, so this kind of, I'm getting the energy of like a loop. So there might be an opportunity for you to, or create the opportunity yourself actually, to look at something that you have healed within yourself. Maybe looking back around a year or so. Where are we now? 22. So yeah, 21. And it's likely from this message that something really big has healed for you. You've done it. You've completed it. So now that means that you can really step forward into your highest power, into your truest power as a fragment of source. So that's something that you can really sit with and love yourself for. That you've worked through something big, and actually it might be more than one thing. Yeah. You can really love yourself for that. So yeah, especially like from around the last year or so. And if you've been coming to the moon ceremonies regularly, or perhaps even listen to the podcasts, which haven't been going on as long as the moon ceremonies, but taking notes and doing the activities that come up in the moon ceremonies, you might be able to, if you do that in the same sort of notebook, you can look back and see what's healed and what's grown and what's changed and what you've left behind. It's one of the advantages of doing something regularly, like the moon ceremonies. Okay, so you're going to have to be strong in yourself in terms of there's like a pushy energy around. The energy wants to push us around, wants to be fast, wants to like push through the earth and lead you into something good and something big due to the work you've completed. But just at the same time, again, being mindful of really grounding yourself, going deep into yourself and being deeply honest and asking yourself, am I happy to just be? So you don't have to get caught up in the the undercurrent of what's kind of, you can take your time. Yeah. But don't try and jump into anything without having the roots first, because you'll just get blown away. um and yeah, just being being honest with yourself and surrender, because the universe is just going to push you and push you until you just say, I've fucking had enough. So just the first sign, just go, hold on. Okay, let's see okay, what's going on here? Okay. It feels like a nice deep breath. Okay, so yeah, lots of spring imagery. So the question for you is, are you ready to be big? So there's an energy of the potential to really bloom into your divine feminine, which we all have inside of us. And really finding that balance and harmony within that happy place in your heart space. Because you've changed. You've changed permanently and for the better. And now you're ready for something. You don't need to rush. Just look at what you've healed, what you've accomplished. Because that thing might even appear to be small to other people. It's got nothing to do with other people. If, it could be big for you. So just slow down. There's that kind of, that wounded healer energy. That's what goes with that undercurrent I was talking before, that wounded healer. They're not in a rush. They know, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Now you're in a position to help others through what you've healed in yourself. And this is why it's important to just take your time over that, You can't rush a good stew. Don't know where that came from. Okay. Yeah, that wounded healer energy. Beautiful. What a community we are creating here, guys. Okay, so there may still be some work around relationships in all shapes and forms. When isn't there going to be? But there seems to be an extra energy around that. And remember, you do need to love yourself first. So again, what is important to you? Where do you want to go next? Slow down, work it out. It's crazy out there. So just be intentional with everything. Integrate. Even slowing down when you eat, you might be fantastic with your ritual around eating and, how you use resources, praying to the food, thanking the earth, thanking the water every time you take a shower or drink some water, really connecting with all of that and being really intentional of what you want these medicines, the medicines of food and water and all the elements around us and even the people around us, being intentional with where that energy is going so that it doesn't get stuck in the wrong places and make you sick. Okay, so interesting, my voice is still recovering. Okay, so embrace your inner child. Play with that inner child. Cannot stress that enough. And just create safety for yourself so that you can embrace your vulnerability. And if there are people around you that you can be that with, then it's a beautiful thing. Hold on to those people. But make yourself feel safe first. And so that, you can embrace that. And then you'll know when you're not carrying around all that extra armor, what is trying to create through you, what is trying to birth through you. Because there's a really good energy of creativity coming through. And it doesn't matter if 100,000 people had that idea before you, you'll still have your own unique spin on it. And equally, it doesn't matter if nobody had that idea before you, and so you think it's never going to work. You're here for a reason. and you are a creator. So go create, okay? Okay. That watery energy again. Water, emotions, let go, surrender, release. So if you find yourself crying, cry, cry. Laugh and cry at the same time. Go and see an old friend or a new friend and just, yeah, be honest, be open, be vulnerable. Let it all out. Surrender. Get out of the head. Stop planning all the details because the details will take care of themselves. You just have to have the vision and create the space for it. It's a direct message. I've no idea what they're talking about, so I hope that resonates with you. Yeah, let go of expectations. This is really important. Expectations are a waste of energy, especially right now. So just let yourself be light. Trust the journey. And just allow yourself to expand, expand. Oh, they want me to reiterate, let yourself be light, as in bright light, but also weightless. There's really not much effort needed for these big changes to come through, baby. Cool. All right, so you might already feel this energy shift of no longer wasting energy on things that no longer serve you. Just, birthing you out with the matrix and completely dropping any lower vibrational energies. And just getting this really, really beautiful image. I've been getting it for a few days of just like little souls just lighting up like all over the planet, just like bing, bing, bing. It's so beautiful. So, yeah, we've got to be in our bodies. We've got to embody and integrate the new level that we're at now as individuals. So I guess that's why we got into the body in the last moon ceremony. And so many people fell asleep because it can feel exhausting to be in the body, right? But it's really great if you can practice that. That was a really great journey. Yeah, so the magic is inside you, and I feel really positive about everything that is coming into creation now on individual levels, but on a collective level. So just do your best to stay in your body and create magic at the same time. And if it gets tough, it's okay. Just hold space for it. You're not in a rush. Reach out to somebody. If you don't know who to reach out to me. It's easy enough. Yeah, so I think that brings us to the end of the transmission so far. So we'll be activating on Thursday in the new moon ceremony, 7:30 UK time, PM, for an hour and a half online. You can get tickets through Eventbrite, and there'll be a little bit more channeled information and tips on how to navigate the energy and journaling guidance. So feel free to, bring your rapé or your cacao or your cup of tea or whatever and create a sacred space and join us online. That would be gorgeous. We're counting down the moons now to when I head back to Peru. I've got some things in the pipeline, possibly a couple of retreats just before I go. Big shout out to the people, you lovely people coming on Dieta with me in July. Such a gorgeous group. I will be emailing you all in the next couple of weeks with the last few details. Cannot wait for that. So thank you all for creating this beautiful, group. And massive love to my Patreons as well. It's always so amazing to know that you guys are there and we're creating this community. And see that a few of you are revisiting the moon ceremonies afterwards, which is really awesome. I'm working on manifesting some more time so that I can do some more podcast stuff. I really want to do more meditations and shamanic journeys for people to listen to. I really appreciate everybody's support. I want to provide as much free content as possible to, offer what I can, as it might be helpful to some people. So yeah, thank you to everybody who donates and supports what I'm doing, and all the amazing people that I work with. Things are just getting better and better. And yeah, so I have got a bit of space left in London for one-to-ones, Cambo, cacao, various bits and pieces, one-to-ones, integration therapy. So just get in touch. I haven't got much space, but I'll always try and fit you in. And yeah, just take really good care of yourself. Give yourself a big hug. I'm sending you loads of love. And thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here on the planet now and raising the vibration. And I'm just sending you so much love. And sorry if you've emailed me or messaged me on Facebook. I've got not Facebook. I don't use that one. The other one, Instagram. I just got really behind with all of that. So it's not personal. And oh yeah, that's what I meant to say as well. If you have any ideas about anything you would like me to do podcasts on, apart from these energy updates, let me know. A few people have asked me to do some things about how to practice channeling or lucid dreaming or different medicines or whatever, and they're in the pipeline. But if you let me know what you want to hear me banging on about, I'll put something together. I'll add it to the list. Yeah, so massive love, big rainbows from my heart to yours. I know that sounds so cheesy, but it's just how I visualize it, and that's just how it is, okay? So deal with it. And I will catch you soon across the dimensions. All right, loads of love, beautiful. Mwah.